In what might be one of the biggest tragedies of the 21st century, I did not own any Monster High dolls as a child. I started getting really into Monster High when I was 10 or 11, right when it started becoming embarrassing for me to ask for things that I wanted. Plus, I had more important things to be spending my allowance money on, like new leggings from Justice. So while I watched most of the Monster High movies, I didn't actually own any of the dolls, which were the main point of the Monster High franchise. Inkiio 1, Capitalism 0. And as it turns out, Monster High got a reboot recently, and it looks really good. I do really like Monster High Generation 3. I think the dolls are gorgeous. I love the diversity in body types and the different skin tones and the disability representation. All of it is great. I have no notes, no complaints. Another thing I think was a good choice on the part of Monster High Generation 3, because we do not talk about Generation 2, is that the characters are dressed and act more like high schoolers because it's Monster High. Less of the over-the-top glam looks that we saw from Generation 1 and more toned down but still really cute outfits that you would expect to see on a 15 to 16-year-old. You know, a high schooler. So, unless you stumbled upon this video by generating a random YouTube link and then putting it into your search bar, you read the title and saw the thumbnail of this video. We are redesigning Monster High, but I want to specify that I am redesigning the Generation 1 characters. Even though both of the characters I talk about in this video appear in both Generation 1 and Generation 3 and are main characters, my designs are meant to be renditions of the Generation 1 characters and their personalities and interests, because some of those things did change in Generation 3. And also, Generation 1 is what I grew up with. You can think of this as the real Generation 2. If I was handed the characters from Generation 1 and told to put my own spin on them, this is what I would do. It's like that's the point of a redesign. And speaking of redesign, I am in the process of redesigning my life. As cheesy as that sounds, I've been really into self-improvement lately, specifically reevaluating the way I spend my time and how much I get done in a given day. And today's sponsor, Skillshare, has exactly what we're looking for. If you've watched my channel before, you know it, you love it. Skillshare is the largest online learning platform by creatives for creatives, with countless curated classes made by professionals, not only on productivity, but also on film, illustration, design, freelance, and pretty much anything else you could think of. Lots of my subscribers don't know this, but I'm actually a business major in college, and I'm really looking to take my business management skills to the next level. And in addition to my beloved marketing and business, Skillshare has categories in art and illustration, animation in 3D, and writing and publishing. Because of course, I know that a lot of you are artists. And Skillshare knows that too, because they're giving the first 500 people to use my link in the description a free 1-month trial of Skillshare. And a month is 730 hours long. That's like a lot of classes. If you want to watch along with me, right now I am taking Notion for Beginners, Build a Life Dashboard for Personal Productivity by Mike and Maddie. So if you're interested in this class or any other class on any topic you could think of, make sure to click the link in the description or go to the link on screen to get your 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thanks so much to Skillshare for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. And now, Monster High! Let's go! Yay! Now, if you know even a single thing about me, then you may be able to predict who my favorite Monster High character is. I'll give you a second. It's Claudine. Add this to the list of purple-coded characters that I adore with my whole heart, despite not liking purple. Now, all of the Monster High girls are divas in their own right, but Claudine is a diva. Her and Cleo and Draculaura, divas with a capital D. Claudine is smart and stubborn and determined. The Monster High wiki describes her as confident, energetic, and fierce, which, yeah. However, Claudine is one of the few characters from Generation 1 that I really dislike in Generation 3. Despite the fact that I love that she looks more wolf-like and has textured hair, finally, I just don't love her outfits. I also believe in Generation 3 she's not a fashion designer anymore, which sucks because that's a really cool hobby for her to have. So for my Claudine, I'm leaning very heavily into the fashion designer look. However, one thing that I did decide to take from Generation 3 is that she wears glasses because I wear glasses. I also wanted her to be more visually werewolf, so I gave her a tail, which I'm now realizing would be inconvenient if she were a fashion doll, but she's not, so we're keeping it. Claudine's original design for Generation 1 has this really cool jacket with a fur trim, and so while the outfit certainly is dated, I do still think that the fur motif fits her very well, obviously. And so I gave her a jacket with a huge furry trim to accentuate her silhouette, as well as giving her a huge ponytail to emulate a tail before I gave her an actual tail, because she is bold and confident, and I think that her outfits need to be as bold and confident and as loud as she is. In addition to that, I gave her a bunch of gold accessories because I love the way that gold looks with purple. And she already wears a lot of gold in her original design, and I believe that she canonically prefers gold. Also, this is definitely a Mandela effect, but I very vividly remember her having a choker with spikes on it, but she doesn't. It's a choker with jewels on it. And so I had to give her a spiked choker, obviously. But then that looked out of place, so I needed to give her spiked bracelets. But then those looked out of place, so I needed to give her a spiked belt. Then I went, she should have a spiked hair tie. You could argue that this takes her in like a punk goth direction. I don't know the specific subcultures, I'm so sorry. But Claudine seems like the type who would like to mix up accessories from different fashion subgenres to create exactly the kind of look that she's going for. Originally, as an excuse for their outfits, I was going to pull the "they should be in university" card again like I did with my Equestria Girls designs, but then I was like, that would completely defeat the point of it being called Monster High because it's a monster high school. But maybe Monster High is just super accepting of how anybody wants to dress and doesn't have a super strict dress code. So that's why Claudine is allowed to dress like this. Originally, I had an uncontrollable urge to give her bell bottoms, ones that were open in the front that you could unzip and zip up to close so that you could see her shoes. But then I really wanted to give her these furry high-heeled boots. So in order to further tie this lilac into the design, I did end up settling on the boots instead of the flared pants. I hoped that the boots would work to make the design less top heavy, but since she has her arms up in this pose, I think it ended up being pretty top heavy anyway, balanced out a little bit by the tail. I gave her a notebook to design her outfits and patterns, as well as a little purple flip phone. But yeah, here is my Claudine. I think she's super cute, super fierce, confident, and whatever the third one it was that they called her. Confident, energetic, and fierce. Slay.
Don't even think about it.
If you were watching Claudine's sketch and you saw the other sketch that was on the page in my sketchbook, then you're probably thinking that the next one is going to be Cleo. And I actually started on Cleo and then decided to do Frankie because Cleo seemed really hard. Cleo is one of my favorites, so I know that if I wanted to tackle her, I would have to do a lot of research and planning that I do not have time to do right now, so we're gonna do Frankie. I actually prefer Generation 3 Frankie to Generation 1, which might be a little sacrilegious, I'm sorry. I just think Generation 3 Frankie is so cute. I also love that now, instead of their hair just being white and black, it also has some teal in it. So I stole that. I feel like my Frankie pretty closely follows the Frankenstein redesign formula. I also designed her outfit first before anything else, though there wasn't much else to design. I love Frankie's segments and also her white and black hair. Both Frankie G1 and G3 have such interesting and amazing color palettes. The green and the blue and the black and white. It's so iconic. It's so Frankie. I truly do not know what to call Frankie's original style. I'm sure there's a specific word for it because there's a specific core for everything. The collar and the tie and the plaid print is kind of giving academia. So I leaned heavily into the idea that Frankie is trying to fit in as much as she can at Monster High, so much so that she is emulating a uniform, essentially, even though Monster High doesn't have a uniform. She thinks that wearing a more serious outfit will help her be taken more seriously at Monster High, so that hopefully nobody can tell that she was assembled about a month ago. However, Frankie does not know how to dress at all. Her shirt isn't tucked into her skirt, her sleeves are rolled up messily, her socks don't match. I imagine her tie probably isn't tied correctly. You can see her shorts from under her skirt. Her jewelry is mismatched and doesn't really go with the theme of her outfit. But I think that all of these things are so endearing and make a very visually interesting character, even if she doesn't come off as put together like she wants to. One change I also made was adding another accent color in pink, because in both Generation 1 and 3, Frankie's very much green, obviously. She's green and black and white, with frequent hints of blue. But because Claudine has a very strong contrasting accent color in gold, and Frankie is very energetic and peppy, I wanted to give her a bright accent color. I originally toyed with yellow, but ultimately settled on pink. Plus, the teal and the pink being on opposite sides of the color wheel really emphasizes how not put together Frankie is. But I think that she likes it that way. This color combination was probably very visually appealing to her. I also kept her heterochromia like she has in both generations, but instead of her eyes being blue and green, I made one blue and one pink, just so it's way more obvious at first glance that she does have heterochromia. She also cannot get her hair to lay down flat, so she has cowlicks sticking up everywhere, which gives a permanently electrified look. You also may not be able to tell from the angle she's drawn at, but her hair is in fact 2 different lengths. It's probably multiple different lengths. I imagine she cut it herself. Which, yeah, me too. She just needs a little bit of time to get used to being in this skin and making outfits, which is why it's perfect for her to be friends with Claudine. Whenever Claudine needs somebody to try on a new outfit she's not sure about, Frankie is first in line because she wants to wear anything. She's so excited to try something new. Anyways, here's Frankie. She's so adorable. I love her so bad. The wiki describes her as friendly, sweet, and polite with a clumsy streak, which, yeah, girl, me too.
What do you know about Halloween?
Originally, I was gonna make this video last October for Halloween, but October is infamously right before November, which is the worst time of year, bar none. Plus, like I said, I didn't own any Monster High dolls, so I didn't really have an attachment to any specific character or outfit from any of the dolls, except for my queen, Claudine Wolf, of course. But Monster High has tons of characters. I've still got that Cleo sketch, so if you want a part 2, tell me which Monster High characters are your favorites, and I'll take a look at them and consider making a part 2 maybe. Could be next week, could be 2 years from now. You never know with me, do you? Another way you can support the channel is via my Patreon. I post early video art, exclusive sketches, and occasionally exclusive videos, though I haven't done that for a while. And for the low price of $10 a month, which is less than the Dickie's brisket sandwich I got earlier, I will read your name at the end of my videos. Thank you so much for the people who paid for my car repairs after I backed out of my garage into a fire hydrant, my amazing $10 patrons, Puntastic Artist, Little Wolfine, Vioon, Gar, Zigo Buzz, Speckadoodle, Billy Lover, Neko Jack, and Tyree West, as well as all of my other patrons, all of my subscribers, everybody who watches, comments, and likes. If you're new, make sure to subscribe because I post every 2 weeks. Mostly. And if you're not new, make sure to make a new account and subscribe again. We are extremely close to hitting 100,000 subscribers, and I want to hit it now, so get to making new accounts. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. I am still Lucky Inkiio, and I will still see you very soon.